Hello everyone. Hi, it's Caroline Velez. How is everyone doing? Welcome to 5 Steps to Leveraging Real Estate to Exit the Rat Race. I know this is not your first rodeo, that you've been on other webinars before, and they probably have a lot of preamble and stories and talk before they cut into the core content. How about we just dive right into it? I've got a lot of great stuff I want to cover, and also it's part of my engineering personality that I like to just cut to the chase, and that's how I'm going to run this webinar. Alright, who is this for? This is for the hardworking, smart people who are serious about extra income. This is for the hardworking, smart people who want to invest their money in real estate so they can build passive income. The passive income can one day replace their active income and they can retire earlier. This is for the hardworking people who want to build wealth and income streams for themselves and for their family. So whether you want to get out of your current job or you like your job and you want to build extra income and wealth, pay attention for the next 45 minutes because this is going to be the best 45 minutes you invested in your personal financial wealth and retirement planning. In the next 45 minutes, you will learn the real reason why conventional retirement planning leaves people broken and destitute. You will learn how to put your money to work and build income so you can take your foot off the gas pedal one day and stop trading hours for dollars. You will learn how to protect your lifestyle regardless of what is happening economically. You will learn how to make the shift from consumer to becoming the owner without changing careers, taking on another job, or getting a business degree. You will learn how to retire comfortably without becoming broke at old age. You will learn how to leverage and rocket fuel your business without taking on another full-time job or losing sleep. My promise to you, the exact step-by-step strategy to gain financial freedom, build wealth, and lasting equity. I know this sounds like a big promise. You really got to believe this can happen. Somewhere you know someone who has built their wealth through real estate, whether it's a friend, relative. It has already been done. You know people who have achieved this, and you can too. Does this sound like you? Do you feel stuck and burned out in a daily grind, but you cannot quit because you rely on that paycheck? Does the thought of working day in and day out throughout old age give you chills? Do you feel like you are playing credit card roulette and struggling to pull ahead? Are you in the rat race? Does it sound like you? You work, you get a paycheck, you pay your bills, you spend it on expenses, lifestyle, and then sometimes you might go overboard and enjoy a high-end lifestyle that is a little bit over your means. Then you get yourself into credit card debt. And then you go back to work again, and then you get a paycheck to pay off that credit card debt, and then do your daily bills, and you go through the same cycle again and again. You've probably heard of this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What I enjoyed most about his book is the cash flow quadrant. He talks about the different quadrants. Employee is E, S is for solopreneur, B is for business, and I is the investor. If you are an employee, you work for someone else. The solopreneur works for himself too. However, both the E and the S quadrant are in the rat race because the way we make income in these quadrants is by trading hours for dollars. The people who have a little bit more leverage is the business owner. You have employees working for you, so it frees up part of your time. And then there's the investor. You have passive income, money working for you, and while you spend your time leisurely doing other things that you enjoy. Does this sound like you? Do you wish you had extra income to help those you love and those in need? Do you worry what would happen if you or your partner got laid off? Do you feel like there's an invisible ceiling controlling how you live your lifestyle, and it's not changeable? Does this sound like you? Do you feel frustrated? It takes so much time to be able to have retirement freedom. Do you tell your friends and yourself money does not matter, yet secretly you know that money can solve many headaches and can turn your dreams into reality? Do you secretly worry if you don't do something about it now, you will end up as a sad statistic and end up living retirement below your current lifestyle? If any of these sounds like you, don't worry, I've got some good news for you. Those are not the problem. Those are just the symptoms. The real problem is you haven't made the shifts. Once you've made the shifts, you can have complete control over your life and finances, have the freedom to choose how you want to spend your time, and not have to trust your future with a financial advisor. You can have a sufficient personal wealth and live without having to work actively towards an income. Once you've made the shifts, you choose when you want to take off and not have to wait for vacation approval. Once you've made the shifts, you can turn your own mental dream screenplay into an action movie, create a plot full of adventure, excitement, fulfilling life experience, a photo album full of exciting pictures. Be bold and live out the big dreams that have been in your head. Limitations and obstacles are no longer in your way. You choose how you want to spend your time. You can choose the projects and work that make your heart sing versus feeling forced to work for a paycheck and be in a job that you don't even enjoy. Once you've made the shifts, you can finally financially help those that you love and care about, whether it's a senior grandparent, a parent needing help. Let's be honest, with extra income, those headaches and heartaches can always be resolved. You can live your life large rather than trying to be small and limit your life and dreams to a budget. Before you get into the shifts, I'm going to take a quick minute to introduce myself and why you should listen to me. On the real estate side, I built my mom a retirement portfolio that produces passive income money of $4,500 a month. I started this portfolio with $20,000 and over time in 7.5 years built it to a portfolio valuing about $840,000, and in another 2 or 3 years the valuation would be at over $1 million. I've partnered with teams doing 9 house flips and rehab projects over 3 years, each profiting between $18,000 to $30,000. I have corporate experience as an asset portfolio analyst, and I boosted a profit for my company between $1.2 to $4.6 million a year. I am a real estate investor and a commercial real estate associate. What did I do before real estate? I had a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. I'm a proud startup engineer for capital projects greater than $10 million, and I travel globally on expat projects to help start up these plants. I lead a construction team and engineering teams to build a plant, to test the plant, run the plant, and teach them how to run it on their own, and then I hand them the keys and move on to the next project. I love taking projects across the finish line. That was my favorite role, being an engineer, is being part of the startup team. My friends call me the problem solver, the systems builder. I love the Japanese Kaizen system. It's what Toyota Lean is all about. It's a methodology and philosophy specializing in saving time, energy, and building efficiency. I love traveling and surfing. Before real estate, and now I still do. Now let's talk about the 5 shifts. Let me tell you first how I discovered the 5 shifts. Back in 2008, after the recession, my mom's retirement fund went from a 401k to a 101k. Financial advisors said she would need to work till she was 85 to make it through. I just gasped. I mean, there has to be another way, right? Post-graduation, I followed a lot of Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, and I listened to them. I stayed debt-free. I maxed out my retirement plan. I saved money. And I calculated my own funds with the financial advisor's way and realized for me to save enough to retire, I also had 30 more years to go, even though I had already been working for 4 years. It seemed like a really, really long time. I studied and about all these different assets, and I learned that real estate was a great asset vehicle. Upon working asset managers in my corporate job, I got to see a whole new view of how the wealthy people manage their assets. And I finally understood why the wealthier get wealthier. I noticed how the wealthy approach business, analyze, and tackle investments differently from the middle class. It was a totally different mindset of management habits that I didn't really hear of, nor did my parents or my grandparents talk about. I noted all these observations and notes and integrated it into a system. Over the years, I invested in $50,000 worth of real estate education and received coaching and training. What makes the wealthy succeed at the highest level? I knew it was not just luck. Over time, I realized there were 5 things that these superstars were doing differently than the rest of us. No wonder they can accelerate to their level of abundance so quickly. There are 5 key shifts you must take in order to create extra income each month and exit the rat race. I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them. The first shift: don't squeeze more, make more. Remember this book called The Millionaire Next Door? The philosophy is that the millionaires, they are underdog millionaires living in subpar neighborhoods. They drive used cars, focus on saving, couponing. They don't go on lavish vacations. They stash away all their cash and live a very disciplined, low-key lifestyle. You know, last week I just got done attending a retirement party. The guy worked for 37 years, and he told me the scariest moment of his life was taking his retirement pension to a financial advisor he only knew for a year and asked him, "Is this enough for me to live off of?" It's scary to live off a pile of cash. One unplanned large expense can throw your whole budget off. These ideas may not seem obvious at first. However, they are very real when you live them over a period of years. This explains the strange behavior of a 70-year-old millionaire who restricts his spending only to his Social Security check and quibbles over 10 cents on a can of tuna. Drawing down your assets for living expenses is an emotionally difficult thing to grapple with. You have to live it to understand it. It is antithetical to freedom. It's how you create an impoverished life experience when you are financially rich. Living off piles of cash is a limited mindset lifestyle. Don't be that way. You might tell me, it's like, Caroline, I make pretty good income. So let's say you make $60,000 a year. That's $5,000 a month. And you stash away $1,000 each month to your 401k. I did the math, put it into the retirement calculator. That you get a good amount, all right? You get $1.2 million at a 6.5% annual return. What you don't know is that after you take out the mutual fund fees and your taxes, about 33%, when you're done, your retirement account balance is $150,000. You might be shocked, right? You're like, $150,000, how long is that going to get you? Well, if you live the same $60,000 a year lifestyle, well, that could only last a little less than 3 years. And you might say, well, my house will be paid off. I'll just keep it really simple. So I'll just live off of $30,000 a year, basically like a student. And that will last me 5 years. You know, that still isn't enough. So I know what you're thinking. You're saying, like, Caroline, I do make a pretty good salary. I make 6 figures. I max out my 401k every year, every month. I max out to the max contribution. So here, I did the math. Putting in a max contribution of $18,100 a year, your 401k over the time frame of 30 years, and let's say you've got a great mutual fund guy. He's used 7%. Right, 7% return. After you're taking out the mutual fund fees and the 33% tax, you're left with roughly almost $800,000. So what kind of lifestyle do you want to live when you're retired? And keep in mind, you started with a 6-figure lifestyle. So if you want to continue living the same lifestyle, that money is only able to keep you afloat for 8 years. So then you say you're going to cut down your lifestyle. You're going to live off $50,000 a year. Really? So that would just be about 16 years. It's still not enough. I know these numbers are shocking, but I have to tell you the truth of what's going on here. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is you do not get rich slow, okay? I want you to switch your focus from saving piles of cash to making streams of income. In society, we are so focused on our corporate income. However, that's not how you increase your net worth and increase your asset portfolio. You got to increase your streams of income. We are so focused on budgets and couponing and saving money. That goes back to the limited mindset belief of saving piles of cash. We should focus more on making streams of income versus just using us as the only income source. Saving is good. I'm not saying that saving is bad, but you need to invest the difference versus just putting your savings in a bank or a CD. Part of the same limited mindset belief, you will realize that the mainstream advice gets you chained to a job. You wonder how so, right? Well, the school of frugality, such as TV personal finance gurus, Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, they preach about cutting credit cards, cut out, paying for cable TV, cut out your mobile cell phones, cut. Live frugally to pay off your debt. All of this so you can call into the Dave Ramsey show and say, I'm debt free. They mimic what the typical rat race lifestyle is, right? They tell you to be good, go to work, you get income, and you pay off your bills, but the way they want you to build more savings is by cutting your bills and then having no lifestyle at all. In other words, sacrifice what you want so you can live later. So you can have some savings and then you get rid of that debt. So the idea is to cut down the bills, don't have any lifestyles, increase your savings so you have no debt and you won't be chained to the debt. The idea is to focus on being debt-free. What it comes down to is that the personal finance guru tells you is always, if you live below your means, someday you will leave it better and finally take it easy. If you follow this traditional advice, you will be chained to a job for the rest of your life. Just think about it. What's the point of being debt-free if you are not financially free? Okay, so yes, all your credit cards are paid off, you don't have any debt, but then so what? How are you going to get any more income? You still got to go back to your job and get a paycheck, right? So do you want to continue living like this, like a student below your means, limiting your lifestyle to a budget? So aim to be financially free versus debt-free. Consumer debt is bad. However, business debt that acquires assets is good. More about that later. In a nutshell visual, this is what the Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman approach talks about. It probably sounds familiar. You go to school, you get good grades, go to college, get a job, you work, and then you work. You live below your means so you can save enough money. And they said 30 years is not enough. Let's just make it 40 years just to make sure you've got enough money. So you get to retire at an old age. So live later is their motto. What I'm saying is increase your income streams and have some passive income. It's time to live now. Some statistics. Today's 65-year-olds, 1% are wealthy, 4% are financially free, 5% don't make it that far, unfortunately, 36% are still working, and 54% are dependent on other people for financial resources. Do you know what this means? This means only 1% of people made it through, really enjoying it. So 99% of us are just not doing it right at all. How to go from consumer mode to owner mode. What I mean from going from consumer mode to owner mode is that rather than working for the boss and making them money, you figure out how to make money yourself too. This can be done by riding asset vehicles and then leveraging those asset vehicles towards your rat race freedom. Active income is achieved from exchanging time for dollars. Passive income means that you continue to get paid even after the work is done. As we get older, free time is more important than money. Time is the only scarce resource in the world. Let's take a look at this investment opportunity. The offer is, I'll take your money, you put up 100% of the risk, and it makes money. If it makes money, I'll take 60% more. And I've got annual fees. Oh, and by the way, if it loses money, you lose. I'm still going to get paid. Are you in? I'm sure you didn't have to think about this too much. It's a no-brainer. Your gut response is, there is no way I'm doing this. How silly this sounds. Unfortunately, the only problem is that you're like the 90% of American investors. You've invested in a typical mutual fund. And believe it or not, these are terms you've already agreed to. That's right. $13 trillion are in active managed mutual funds. You don't believe me, right? All right, let me explain the mutual fund sales pitch, okay? So you invest $10,000 at the age of 20. You put in a mutual fund, and let's be optimistic here. You got 7% growth, right? 60 years later, the financial advisor tells you it will grow to $574,464. Like, wow, that is a lot of money. Like, wow, this is a really good idea. So what do you get back into your pocket? In your pocket, after the 2.5% management fees, in your pocket, you get $140,000. You probably don't realize like how compound interest works, doesn't it? You see, compound interest can work with you. It can also work against you. While your money is growing, so is the management fee. They are also receiving their 2.5% a year as your portfolio is growing as well. And let's not forget, you still got to pay taxes, even when you claim it after your, the 59.5 and all that. So from $574,000 to $140,000 back in your pocket, that is not a lot at all. Of course, you don't hear the financial advisor telling you about all these fees and what happens. The sales pitch sounds much nicer, just letting you see how much it grows too, not how much you get in your pocket afterwards. So I know there's a lot of anger and frustration. That's how I felt too when I realized this. But that also teaches you why you have to diversify, why you can't just rely on a mutual fund to put all your retirement savings, why you need other asset options. So let's talk about the other asset vehicles. The asset vehicles are paper assets, which are mutual funds, stocks, and all that. Being a business owner, owning your own business. And the third, my favorite, real estate. Before we get into that, I had to tell you about passive income. It's not about just sipping margaritas on a beach. You actually have to put some work onto it. That's the modern thought. But passive income is actually investing early on, planting the seeds so that you can enjoy the wealth later. It takes a lot of upfront work to set up and enjoy the fruits of your labor years later. We covered a lot. Let's do a quick recap. So I want you to stop squeezing more and make more, to focus more on income streams versus saving piles of cash, okay? And I want you to do the opposite of mainstream advice. I want you to focus on becoming financially free versus debt free. And I want you to go from consumer mode to becoming your own boss, the boss style, and identify asset vehicles that you can ride your money to financial freedom. Why is real estate my favorite asset? Real estate beats Wall Street every single time. Real estate is an ideal investment. I'm going to share with you later why literally it is ideal. There's not going to be more of real estate. It's a limited amount of supply. And you might be wondering, if it's such a good asset, why haven't my financial advisors told me about this? You see, the way that financial advisors make money is through the mutual funds, okay? They have to sell you into their company, whether it's Edward Jones, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, okay? So why would they tell you about another asset that they're not going to make money off of? You would just walk out and do real estate instead, okay? Why real estate? Because shelter is a basic human need. Why real estate? We have a growing population. A growing population means a growing demand. Why real estate? We've got 80 million millennials out there, okay? And millennials have put off on their home buying despite of rising rents. What this means is millennials would much rather live in a pricey apartment than buy a house. Because with a house, they're going to have a house note. They're going to have a mortgage. And they've seen their parents go through the recession, worry about what happens whenever they lose their job. They have a bunch of debt, and then things go into foreclosure. It's terrible. Nobody wants debt. So more millennials are becoming more debt savvy, that they don't want to have the debt. They would rather rent and have the flexibility than have the risk of having a mortgage. Did you know that a record number of U.S. babies are born in 2007? What this means is that 60% of the population is under 30. Why real estate? Because it's a growing demand. There's a fixed amount of supply. What this means is this is a dependable business. Why real estate? Unlike the paper assets and owning your own business, you have control over real estate. So why real estate is an ideal investment? Well, I can stand for income, but I'm going to talk about inflation. That's another benefit of real estate. It deflects the inflation. While consumer price index goes up, so does the family home prices. So then you win in appreciation sense when you're trying to battle against inflation. The second benefit is deductions, all right? You get deductions in your mortgage interest, your operating costs, and the depreciation after a house sale. Another benefit of real estate is the equity you build, okay? The equity you build in a house. As the mortgage gets paid off, you own more and more of the house. Appreciation. You've probably heard your parents say that by the time they paid off their house, the appreciation went up and their house is valued more. You know, it started as a $250,000 house 20 years ago, and today it's valued at $1 million. All right. So there's appreciation in there. Last but not the least, leverage. That's a great benefit to have. What does this look like in numbers? So let's look at an example. Okay. Look at this rental house purchase. You purchase it at a price of $126,000. You put down 20% down payment. All right. The bank loans you 80%. So they loan you the $100,000. Over 3 years, the appreciation is about 19%. The new value is $150,000, which means that your equity is $24,000. That's a return on investment of 95%. That's pretty darn good, right? All right. So taking a look into the amortization, all right, over 3 years' time and all that, that's a 14.5% return. And then looking into the depreciation, taking account of the depreciation, you save on your tax returns and all that. That's about 13%. And then let's not forget you have your monthly rent cash flow, all right? So your cash flow over your down payment that you put in the beginning to purchase the house, $25,000, that's a 34.2% return. Remember what I said the average mutual fund return is? 7%, 34%. That's what you're looking at. That's tremendous on the stock market. If you add all these returns together, you are looking at a 52% annual return. That is huge. Try comparing that to real estate. You can't even compare stocks and bonds or the treasury bills to it, okay? Now, another case study. This is how I built my retirement fund for my mom, right? So I started with $20,000 and purchased the first house. And then each year I bought another house and another house. 7.5 years later, we have tax-free cash flow income of $4,500 a month. The current value of the portfolio is about $845,000. In another 2 or 3 years, without buying more houses, the portfolio will be valued at $1 million. So do you see what I've done for my mom? I increased her net worth to $1 million in 10 years without changing, and she was working the whole time, so she didn't have to go to business school or take on another job and all that. It didn't impact her career or lifestyle. If you do it correctly, you can do all of this part-time. What I did is over the years, I had a lot of learnings too. And I kept refining the system. And that's how I created my program. So I want to let you know that building a retirement plan is not a guess. It's a science. I know the financial advisors make it sound like it's just an estimate. You use a calculator and you estimate what your budget's going to look like and it's a small percentage. But you really shouldn't treat your retirement income like that, okay? There's a science to it. There's math, all right? So I learned about real estate. I executed. There's a lot of trial and error learnings, but I utilized my skill sets of the Toyota Lean system and I streamlined the process, okay? So that it wouldn't be a full-time job. I needed it to be a part-time job. So when you set up your real estate business correctly, you will have that infinite monthly cash flow. It is very doable. Why do I say infinite? I remember attending a Rotary Club, and they were talking about business, finance, and wealth. And the speaker was talking about, what is your financial number? I was like, what does that mean? He said, if you were to quit your job today, like how long would you last? You know, in other words, like how much money do you have that you can last and your lifestyle wouldn't change, you know, if you didn't have your W-2 income job? And I remember thinking like, oh gosh, only like 6 to 8 months, whatever I had in my emergency savings. And he said, that's not the way to go. And he has all his money in real estate and how he would just collect paychecks. So as long as the houses were there, I mean, he would just keep collecting rent paychecks. That money would come in whether he worked or not. And that was just really powerful. That basically means that he has an infinite amount of cash flow coming in, right? It doesn't end because you quit your job or you decide to retire and all that. So now that I've shared with you the paper assets and what real estate can do with you, do you want to still leave all your money in the mutual fund, or do you want to switch over to a more dependable vehicle? Passive income via real estate is a rat race escape, no doubt. If you agree with me, let's give this guy a high five. All right. So another secret weapon I learned that the wealthy use is they accelerate with leverage. Now, I know you think that leverage is just the bank. It's also more than that. So the way you use leverage in a bank is you put 20% down payment, right? And then the bank covers the other 80%, and then you make your mortgage payments. So that's a 5-to-1 ratio of leverage. But leverage doesn't just stop there. Leverage is also using other people's money. So there's the bank money, there's also hard money. So there's different loans out there that you could use in leverage. Leverage is also leveraging other people's knowledge, efforts, and time. Again, time is valuable. It's a scarce resource. So when you can leverage and you can accelerate by utilizing other people's energy, efforts, their time, their knowledge, like you are ahead of the game. Most importantly, you want to invest in a mentor. There's the master Shifu right there. Without a mentor in real estate, it becomes a full-time job, and it can become costly too with mistakes. At the beginning, when I was learning real estate, there's a lot of things I didn't know about, you know, like there's maintenance reserves. Like I felt like I was taking a step forward, but then taking 2 steps back, and it got exhausting, right? And it wasn't until later that I had to refine my system that I learned that there's a much better way to do this. And what happens when you set a big goal, you get excited about real estate, but then things start becoming troublesome and then you get frustrated and all that. And there's a lot of obstacles in the way. It's really easy to give up, right? Because these obstacles start becoming excuses, right? For example, remember the last time you committed to a workout routine. Then one day it was cold and foggy, then it was rainy, and then you didn't want to prep your meals in advance. It was just too much work to figure out, and to count calories, it was just too troublesome, you know? So it just made it really easy to quit, all right? Your enthusiasm and your motivation can only go so far, but whenever you don't have a streamlined, efficient system, you have a lot of obstacles and failures ahead. It's just really easy to quit and give up on your dream, which is really a shame. So the conventional way is to learn by trial and error and go slow. However, if you learn to leverage and have a mentor, you can leverage other people's expertise and effort, and you'll have a much easier experience. All you got to do is plug in my proven system, and you can go much faster. You will have a much better experience searching, analyzing, negotiating, closing, and building your real estate business and portfolio. Owning your real estate will be your wealth vehicle, and you will be celebrating, and it would feel like a really piece of cake, you know, like it's really is a part-time job when you do it right, versus when you try to learn trial and error, it becomes a big hassle. With a mentor who has a proven system in place, your path from point A to point B will be the simplest, surest way to achieve your goals. So we talked about the conventional way that people have been saving for retirement, right? They get a high-paying, steady job. You follow a financial advisor, you cut your expenses, you live on a budget, you invest in a retirement fund, and then you save until your retirement fund reaches some number, right, that the financial advisor came up for you. What the mentor can do with you, what I could do with you, is I'm helping you build your system. I'm helping you build your wealth vehicle. There are many parts to this wealth portfolio that have to work together to accelerate your wealth, okay? So we're going to have a money-making asset, which is real estate. You're going to learn how to use leverage. And then you will also learn how to build your wealth vehicle so that you can accelerate it in a faster pace. Leveraging other people's expertise and efforts makes it easier for sure. We don't make money from reading about money. We need to take action, digest it, and execute it. Trying to become a real estate investor on your own without proper training, mentoring is ludicrous, okay? I've personally invested $50,000 in training and mentorship. It was a big decision, but it was a great investment for me. Think about the people who were never aware of the alternate path to freedom. After taking the long route to retirement, saving and mutual funds, think about what they would have been willing to pay to get the alternative route that would have gotten them to retirement sooner. Think about how much shaving 20 years off of your retirement building is worth to you. Think about all the investment mistakes people are scared about and cost them thousands of dollars down the road. The investment pays for itself. Don't learn through the school of hard knocks. Who wants to learn through mistakes? Why not just do it right the first time? Find an awesome mentor and spend what it takes to work with them. Becoming a real estate owner without the stress of becoming a landlord is super powerful. If a powerful mentor and system can get you your goal 10 times the speed is important to you, invest in yourself. Your freedom is worth it. So with a mentor, real estate can become a part-time job rather than a full-time job. So what you can do is you can work full-time on your active income and then just part-time on your passive income. How great is that? All right, so today I promise to show you the real reason why conventional retirement planning leaves people broken and destitute. Today I promise to show you why saving your way to retirement is a long way. Today I promise to show you how to put your money to work in real estate and build income so you can take your foot off the gas pedal one day and stop trading hours for dollars. Today I promise to show you how to make the shift from consumer to becoming the owner without changing your career. Today I promise to show you how to retire comfortably without becoming broke at old age. Today I promise to show you how to leverage and rocket fuel your business without taking on another full-time job or losing sleep. So now you know about passive income. Increasing your income streams is the way to go versus trying to save piles of cash. Now you know that real estate is a great asset vehicle. Now you know the secret of leverage, how it can rocket fuel your success. And now you know the power of investing and mentoring. This is what you need to win. You need to focus on building streams of cash versus saving piles of cash. You need to go from consumer mode to boss mode. Use passive income vehicles to exit the rat race. Real estate assets beat Wall Street every single time, okay? It is the best asset out there. What you also need to win is understand leverage. Accelerate wealth with leverage. And invest in a mentor. So now you have a choice, okay? You can take the information I've given you and throw it out the door. Keep pedaling through the rat race, limiting your choices and dreams to live within a budget and save piles of cash sticking to a financial plan and what the advisor gave you, okay? And then by the time you reach your retirement, your active years will be over. Or you can get started with real estate and build your financial freedom. Create a financial freedom wealth plan. Start building your wealth equity. Accelerate your retirement funds and never be stressed out and fearful about retirement planning again. You can live your ideal life and never let finances or money be the reason why you cannot do something. How I can help. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can apply the system to your financial freedom game plan today. How I can help. On the session, we will work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to hit your financial freedom number goals, whether that's $4,000 a month, $7,000 a month, or $15,000 a month. Okay, I wonder what you're going to ask next, right? You're going to say, okay, how much does this cost, Caroline? Okay, it is absolutely free, okay? So if you're interested in building your real estate business, go to simplefinancialfreedom.com/call. So who is this for? This is for the people who can demonstrate an ability to act decisively, okay? This is for you if you are willing to build new wealthy habits, think, act, and manage your money like the wealthy do. You must declare your freedom and future is worth it. If that's you, book your session now. simplefinancialfreedom.com/call. Why we're doing this. We do this because we love helping people live their full potential. Full potential can only be achieved with financial freedom. In the end, it's not about the money. What I've learned, it's the lifestyle that you get to live whenever you don't have to worry about these finances, okay? I don't want you to be mediocre. I want you to be outstanding. Plus, I know that you might want our help to transform your current financial situation. We can discuss it and see if it's going to be a good fit for both of us. If not, that's fine too. So what will you see when you go to simplefinancialfreedom.com/call? It will take you through a scheduling system, and you can schedule when you want your breakthrough call to be. Again, it's not about the money, it's a lifestyle you have. You don't have to give up your time anymore for things you don't enjoy. It's the freedom of time, the true scarce resource in life, all right? So what's stopping you? Don't get nervous and all that. Just book your breakthrough call and get your real estate business started. Spaces are limited, so sign up. I look forward to talking to you again, and thank you again for all your time. I'm so proud of you for being here and taking a step towards your future financial freedom.